My favorite title? A Grateful Recovering Addict. I myself showed a lot of promise early on.
In school?
In school. I was one of the bright kids. I learned English really fast. I think I had a specific trauma that I went through in Somalia that the rest of my siblings did not go through. And this is something that will haunt me later on in my life.
Where did it go wrong?
I woke up from a nightmare. It was a specific nightmare. And I hope this is not, if there are some kids in the room watching, you might want to put them to bed or get them out of the room. So one night in 2001 at a Halloween party in Bellingham, this Eritrean girl handed me a bottle of Hennessy. And that part, another habla, another guilt, and another shame. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I gotta numb that now more. So now my, whatever drugs I was using wasn't good enough. Now I gotta use heavier. I've always had just escape routes. Allah always gave me an exit sign, but I never took it. I just stayed on this highway to hell. I'm walking through SeaTac Airport, handcuffed, looking rough as hell, just looking like as criminal as you can make somebody. So I grabbed the pistol, and he had it right here in the middle of my hand. Mm-hmm. And then he goes, "Get off my pistol." And he already had the trigger on the finger. All I heard was, "Boop!" And next thing you know, this finger is just hanging out here.
Oh, man.
This whole part of the hand just kind of blew off. He hit me with a hollow point. I said, I just don't want to die. I don't want to die. He made me work this program called Recovery. The 12 steps were essential in me transforming to the man that I am today.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another episode of Somali Bridge Changemakers. We'll bring you the stories of our community members who have or make the biggest impact. Today's guest is someone special, someone who does powerful message in a space that our community members or our community in general struggle to talk about, and that is substance abuse and recovery. Please help me welcome my brother, the founder of Rahma Recovery, Hussein Ugas.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it, akhi.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Bismillah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Akhi, like you said, Marati, you know, one thing I'm going to tell you about me is my favorite title, more than anything else, more than community activist, community leader, founder of Rahma Recovery, and any of those things. My favorite title, a Grateful Recovering Addict. Because every single day, I show gratitude to Allah that I'm in recovery. And I carry that badge with honor. Something about when I say Hussein Ugas. Hello, my name is Hussein Ugas, and I am a grateful recovering addict.
MashaAllah. Man, such a powerful words.
Yes.
My viewers are eager to know all the work you've been doing. We'll talk about that.
Inshallah.
Rahma Recovery, or the great things you're doing. But before I delve into that, could you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, where you grew up?
Alhamdulillah. I grew up right here, right not far from where this studio is. SeaTac, Washington. Tayi High School. My stomping grounds in this neighborhood, man. I've lived here for 32 years, on and off. Um, I've lived in a few other states. We'll get to that once we get to the other chapters. But
you were born in Somalia.
yeah, I was born in Somalia, yes.
Yeah.
I was born in Somalia. I grew up during the war. I've gone through a lot of unfortunate trauma over there.
Yeah.
We made it here in 1993. Alhamdulillah, I made it here with my uncle and his family. We got here 26 people. My uncle brought here.
Yeah.
26 people.
Yeah.
And it was cousins, it was uncles, it was relatives.
Yeah.
We were a huge family. And may Allah reward my Edo and my Ader, my uncle and my aunt. They did the best they could in trying to look after us. They had their own kids too. I myself showed a lot of promise early on.
In school?
In school. I was one of the bright kids. I learned English really fast because I was never a shy kid. Another thing that happened to me is because of the trauma, I had a specific trauma that I went through in Somalia that the rest of my siblings did not go through. And this is something that will haunt me later on in my life. But to get back to that,
we'll talk about that.
Yes. I excel in school. From 7th grade when I started, my favorite subject was math and science class. And then by 8th grade, I was the TA, teacher's assistant, in our ESL class, English as a Second Language class. By 9th grade in high school, I was already working towards playing high school JV basketball team. Already my English getting perfected, and by 10th grade, I was the African Student Union's president and the Black Students Union president.
Wow.
In Tai High School, in 10th grade. Straight A still. I couldn't, I was what they call the model refugee. I couldn't do nothing wrong. Everything that I did it with perfection. I was a perfectionist. I made sure that, I helped others when they came in, that nobody picked on our new Somali brothers and sisters when they came to the high school, that I never separated myself, no matter how much I excelled. Something about me that always made me grounded, and I sat in the same table with the same brothers that just came into the country. Right? Yeah. The same brothers, because nobody taught me that. When I was learning this, I used to wear a whole year, same pair of shoes with the same pair of socks. Washing those socks at night with the same shampoo that I used to take a shower with. Putting those socks on, letting them dry on my feet, and then the next day wear them to school. Nobody gave them the opportunity to teach them how to do that. Right? So when I see one of the brothers with their socks smelling a little bit, I'm like, okay, let me show you how I used to do it. Right? If I can't bring some of my extra socks that I have, I would show them how I used to do it. And just wash it with the soap and then put it on. Wow. I've always had love for my community. I've always had love. Even as a young man, I love to give back. Some people say, I found my purpose, right? After all these years, after all the things in my life, all the ups and downs and everything that I've been through, it was like Allah was preparing me and molding me and toughening me and testing me. So my purpose can find me. It clicked. When I really realized this was something that I'm going to dedicate my life to, the work that I do today. And it's not something that I'm only going to stop here. The blueprint of what Rahma Recovery Center is going to be, the benefits that we're going to make in our community, the lessons that we learn here, I'm not stopping here. Rahma Recovery Center's blueprint will be worldwide.
And we'll get to that.
Yes. Inshallah.
But one thing and I'm going to ask you about your journey to
Yes.
that, how you know that lived experience and how your journey getting to that. When you talked about being a model citizen, you
Yes.
can't go
Yeah.
wrong. Did that put any pressure on you?
100%. 100%. Especially when the failure came, right? When my struggles started,
Yeah.
that being put on a pedestal,
Yeah.
and you know, people always talking about your, you know, how you have so much potential,
Yeah.
right? There's an old Somali saying, "Waa roon tahay ragga waa uga dartaa, dumarkana reerkay ka saartaa." Right? It's so profound, but so simple, you know. It's something that will haunt me later on, because not only did I feel a failure of just letting myself down, but I let the entire community down. I felt like I had the weight of the community on my back.
Yeah.
I had like brothers who were older than me, who were one class, two classes, you know, that I used to help their homework with, right?
Yeah.
The brothers that just, because their English is not there yet, you know, their education level is not there yet. So not only did I let my family down, myself down, I felt like I let my entire community down.
Now,
so much pressure.
Where did the wagon fall off? Like, you know, personal journey, right? What defines us? You know, it makes us who we are, and along the way, God's shaping us. Right?
Yes.
Now, I want to go back for our viewers.
Yes.
Like, where did it go wrong? Because I know our community, we don't talk about our personal journey like that. We don't talk about addiction, you know. So I want you to talk about that journey and what brought you to these points.
I went through therapy, and I got, you know, I did a lot of healing, but it was in 11th grade, and fall of 1998, I woke up from a nightmare. It was a specific nightmare, and I hope this is not, if there are some kids in the room watching, you might want to put them to bed or get them out of the room. But when I was about, I think 9 years old, maybe 10, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
We lived in Hawaii. We lived in these houses called.
It's one of the districts in
Yes,
Mogadishu.
in Mogadishu, yes.
Yeah.
You know, during the war, they weren't running water. So as young men, we used to go a couple of miles down, take
Was
20
that after
gallons.
the Civil War?
Yes, during the Civil War.
91?
92.
92.
Yeah. We used to go grab 2 20-gallon water jugs and go fill them up and bring them back home. Our house, where we lived, were gated community houses that had a giant gate that you come through. And there used to be a bus that runs through there. As we were coming into it was like right as the sun was setting, Maghrib time. Mm-hmm. 2 guys hopped out of the bus and they were fist fighting. And one guy takes out, you know, Basha Torre, the bayonet, right?
Yeah.
But not the real bayonet, the Somali Torre. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, the actual blade that Somali people, like the camel herders, the blade that they use. He pulled it out, akhi. And he grabbed the man by his head and slit his throat. Not only did he do that, I still remember this very vividly. When the man fell down, He held his head and just kept yanking it. And as kids, we're shocked. I don't even think I let go of that 20-gallon for about a good 5 minutes because I was frozen in shock. And I'm a kid who grew up in the war. I've seen dead bodies. I've seen people getting shot. I've seen, vehicles drive over dead bodies on the road, the same road that we go get the water from. We walk by there. There's dead bodies on the. It was savage what was going on in Somalia at that time.
Yeah.
I'm holding on to these 2 guns of water. I'm a skinny kid. Look, I'm still skinny, right? Mm-hmm. Imagine me as a 9-year-old, right?
Yeah.
Probably weigh at that time like maybe 60, 70 pounds. I'm holding on to his 2 gallons, just holding on tight. And I'm looking at this guy's life leave him. Blood gushing out of his throat. And the guy looked at us, wiped the knife on his mouth, put it back in, and just walked off. Somehow, and we never talked about that. I think we might have said something when we got home. Hoyo, there's some guy just killed another guy over there. Hoyo was like, that happens every day. What are we talking about here? Right? They just pushed it to the side. Because she's a mom that's trying to raise kids in a civil war. Yeah. Like, people die every day in a civil war, man. Well, you telling that something new?
It was normal.
Yeah. I woke up to that the screams from that man woke me up from my nightmare. And that continued. I have never shared this with anybody, not my family, not my friends. Nobody knew, because I didn't know what the hell was wrong with me. I didn't know how to put trauma, mental health, PTSD, and that event together.
Yeah.
I'm thinking this guy is haunting me because that night, as the life was leaving him, I was looking dead at his eyes until he stopped moving. I'm looking at him. And then I just kept going numb. So I'm thinking maybe something that followed me from that guy. It took, that shook me so much that I couldn't focus in school. How do I focus in school? I can't sleep at night. I remember my Edu used to wake up and she would hear me just shiver at night, and I'm rocking back and forth trying to go back to sleep. She would yell at me, Hussein, just go to sleep. My head, a fake snore, just so she would go. And then I'm trying to wake up in the morning, trying to go back to school, trying to be that model refugee kid again,
Yeah.
That, the good-looking ladies' man, high school basketball star, straight A student, with the community on my back. I just couldn't take it anymore. So I started skipping school. I just like, these people don't know what I'm going through. What the hell's wrong with me? I'm in class. My hand is doing this, trying to, just take notes. It's not even tests or nothing. I'm just taking notes in class. I can't even take it anymore. And then my teacher, I remember it was my science teacher, she walked up to me one day. She said, you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. So I'm doing this. She was like, no, go to the nurse. Back then, they didn't have a mental health support or nothing. Yeah. They'll just send you to the nurse. And the nurse was like, you okay? Is someone bullying you? I'm like, bullying me? No, nobody's bullying me. I didn't know how to express that.
Yeah.
And that's what the cycle started. I skipped school. I started, making excuses. The guilt.
Yeah.
So I know I gotta work. I was already working. I was working at the Taco Bell here in 188.
When you were still in high school?
Yeah, in high school, yeah. I used to work, that was my first job on 188th and Pacific Highway by the Jack in the Box.
Yeah.
That was my first job. And my older brother's first job was at that Jack in the Box. And we used to walk from Ta'i, go over there, go to work. And I just went ahead and got another job. So now I'm not going to school, might as well have 2 jobs.
So you dropped out of high school?
Yeah. I couldn't focus. I was lying to my family. I used to get up. My aide goes to work. I would get up, put on my backpack, and I'll go over to some of my friends that live not too far from our apartments. They live literally between our apartments and Tai High School, right in the perfect spot.
The family thinks you're actually
I'm at school. I'll come home before my aide gets off work, and then I'll erase the message, voicemail from the school. I'll go open the mail, get the letters from the school, rip them up, toss them. So she never knew.
How long did you do that?
Until I got busted. The school resource officer came to the apartment one day, and it just so happened that day that my aide wasn't feeling well, so she left work. So she came over there. So he came over there. He was like, "Where's Hussein?" And she was like, "I don't know." And that's when everything just kind of. Yeah.
Did you, within that period, get introduced to any drugs at that time?
No.
Would that be later on?
Yeah, it would be later on.
Okay.
After I struggled my junior year, senior year, what happened is something happened to me on senior graduation.
So you went back to school after you got busted out?
Yeah, I got busted. I was still working. I was still making excuses, telling my edo, I'm gonna go back. And senior year, Tai High School graduation, I went there, but I didn't go there as someone who's gonna walk. I went there as one of the people on the stands, the audience watching my class of 99 walk.
You're not part of it.
And the only thing I ever envisioned for myself, not only am I gonna walk, I'm gonna walk a valedictorian. That was the only thing I envisioned for myself. I'm gonna walk with a 4.0 GPA, academic scholarship to UW. Nothing else sufficed. My bar that I set myself was that high. So imagine the guilt that I'm feeling in that moment, sitting there and watching that. That summer, I left. I tried, Akhi. I tried, wallahi. I tried. Even the senior year, I tried to go to different schools. I tried Highline High School. Couldn't focus, man.
Yeah.
So that summer, I decided to go to Highline Community College. They had a GED program. I didn't finish. Some of my friends that graduated, some other friends that graduated the year prior, they all moved to Bellingham. So once again, I started lying. I told my aide, I got my GED. I got accepted to Western Washington University in Bellingham. I went to Bellingham. I got a little part-time job there. And it wasn't really long. I think it was like at a McDonald's or something, some just petty little job. So I can pay my share of a rent wherever I was at that time. But it didn't take long before I got introduced to selling marijuana and stuff like that. But that time I was a designated driver for them, right?
Wow.
I was the one guy who didn't use substances, the one guy who was dealing with the most trauma. So one night in 2001 at a Halloween party in Bellingham, I remember this Eritrean girl handed me a bottle of Hennessy. She was like, no, I don't drink. She's like, what? Yeah, I'm a designated driver. I said, so you never drink? No. The next thing, the peer pressure started. Drink. Went ahead. It's almost like I've done this before. The weird thing about addiction is, when the addiction gene is in your system, even from the beginning, it's simple for you. But you don't know it. I grabbed that bottle and I chugged it like I've been drinking my entire life. Even they were surprised. They were like, "What? You didn't even take a chaser?" I'm like, "No. Was I supposed to take a chaser? I didn't know." But something happened that night. I drank so much that I didn't see the guy with the throat slit. I didn't see him in my nightmares that night. I woke up the next morning with a hangover. My head hurts. My head was pounding. But I realized I didn't have a nightmare. So I was like, oh, I guess it's good for something, right?
Yeah.
I went from that, just that one step, to what eventually would become an 8 years struggle of substance use and mental health. Bridges burned, family connections destroyed, wife and children left, multiple run-ins with the law, homelessness, gunshot wounds, coma, disappearing of my family, my mother becoming insane. Like literally, my mom became a crazy person because of what I went through. Where in the middle of Mogadishu, she would just disappear. No one would find her for weeks until her mind came back. And then the family that found her, they would ask her who she is, and then she would tell them, and they bring her back home.
Do you know, because I want to give our viewers like a timeline. When you went to Bellingham,
Yes.
do you remember like approximately what year that was?
Yeah, around 2001 to 2003. And then,
So you were fresh out of high school?
yeah. From
How long did you live in Bellingham then after?
I lived in Bellingham twice. I lived in Bellingham once between 2001 2003, and then another time between 2006 to 2008. Yeah.
So within that period, you got introduced to.
Yeah.
What other was there?
I
drugs
became
other than
drug
drinking?
user. Yeah, marijuana, cocaine, ecstasy. I become a drug dealer there. I kind of drifted away even from my Somali friends, the guys that I was a designated driver for. And all those things. I drifted away from them.
After that.
Yeah. They were like, the guys that I was designated driver for, I'm doing bigger than them now.
Yeah.
They're like, we don't even know you. Who are you, man?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they were kind of afraid of their own well-being being around me. But I didn't care what anybody thinks. At that moment, I found an answer for this dark secret that I've been dealing with.
Yeah.
Right? And another thing it did for me is it got rid of the guilt temporarily. When I'm drunk and I'm high, it gets rid of the guilt temporarily. But it started another guilt, which became a identity crisis, right? Okay, I don't just carry the Somaliness, the Muslim man. I also carry a family name with a family that's very well known. As you know, my name is Hussein Ugas. That comes with a shit ton of responsibilities. The second oldest boy, right? God forbids if Abba is gone, Allah naharisto. But God forbids if that time Abba's time came and my older brother's time came, I'm the Ugas. And I'm very well aware of this fact. So imagine me in a situation where I'm around a bunch of hyenas, whether I'm slanging drugs or using drugs with them or getting high and drunk with them, And I'm having an out-of-body experience, and I'm looking around like, who the fuck am I anymore? What am I looking at here?
Yeah.
Who is this guy? And then that part, another habla, another guilt, and another shame. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I gotta numb that now more. So now my, whatever drugs I was using wasn't good enough. Now I gotta use heavier. Before I know it, my actual trauma came back. The nightmare came back.
The guy?
Mm-hmm.
How was that?
It was the weirdest thing ever, man. It was almost like running into an enemy that you thought you killed and you buried. Having them just crawl out of the grave.
All the drugs, everything you did not kill him, came back.
Came back in my nightmares, bro. It was the most terrifying thing ever. Now I'm having multi-personality disorder. I'm a little bit psychosis because I can't sleep. You know, paranoia kicks in because now I'm dealing drugs. I'm carrying guns. I'm just like, I don't even know who I am anymore. I'm using different aliases. Some people know me as Santa Claus. Some people, I even used to use the nickname Chief sometimes. You know, the Ugas thing, so now I'm using Chief. Just complete nuts, man. 8 years.
What was it around the year?
So I went from here, 2003, left Bellingham, ended up in Alaska. Because a friend of mine told me, Hussein, you need a break. We're going to Alaska for work. There's a seafood processing company. Let's go. Get out of here, man. Let's go. Bro, no matter where you take me, unless I fix what's wrong, I'm gonna find a way to get back into it. In Dutch Harbor, the population there is 2,500 people that live there, actual people in Dutch Harbor. 10,000 people go to work there. There's 2 factories, Unisea and Westward. We got fired from Unisea, the place we were working at, because of one day I found a guy who was smoking weed outside the Unisea bar. They were so smart. They had Unisea seafood where we worked, but they also had Unisea liquor store and a Unisea bar. We would take our checks to Unisea liquor store to cash it. So we were basically slaves to them. Same check in the CN, to trade it for alcohol between the bar and the liquor store. I don't want to include that. We're going to go through this one step at a time, but I ended up finding not only a way to smoke marijuana there, but a way to get a large quantity to over there. So where I started selling weed over there.
To the crew?
Yes, and the people that live in the island. We got busted and we got fired. Guess what? The other guys left. I didn't go. Where am I gonna go? I got a bunch of weed here. I can't take it back on an airplane with me to Seattle. I gotta figure this shit out. So I find a bed and breakfast in town. My life, not only, the struggles that I've been through, they've also been, at every opportunity, there was a blessing from Ilahi. I've always had just escape route. Allah always gave me an exit sign, but I never took it. I just stayed on this highway to hell.